Hey guys, so today I thought we'd take a look at just a few things that I picked up recently at the store, and then also some things I've read recently. Trying to cut back on my buying because I'm super behind. I have about 5 stacks of books that I need to get to, and those weekly buys that I just aren't excited about, or that I know I'm 12 plus issues behind of, trying to cut back on those. So this past week only spent about 15-16 bucks, which was pretty low, and then that included, I think, one issue that was $5. So just trying to cut back on those things that I know I won't get to, or that I figure if you put it in a stack with 12 other issues, and then meanwhile you're up to date on some other comics, and that means you're probably not that interested. So trying to just cut back, save some money there. So a couple of these books I picked up this week. This is just one of the Marvel True Believers dollar comics. This is the first appearance of Bullseye. I actually do have the original graded, so I picked this one up simply because that graded book is already slabbed. I didn't want to go through it too much and lower the point value there, so figured, okay, I'll pick this up. Then I can actually read the story that's enclosed. We didn't get a huge rating on my issue, unfortunately. I didn't even notice until I sent it in, but somebody had penciled in Daredevil's teeth, so they went over it with a pencil to kind of make it look like his mouth was open. So not the highest rating, but hey, first appearance of Bullseye, I figure that's worth something, even if it's a low grade. So this next one, I believe, is the first appearance of the Green Goblin, really early Amazing Spider-Man. You can see it has this really old picture of the Hulk. He looks ridiculous, and you can tell this is Ditko art because it's so, the bodies aren't too exaggerated. Spider-Man has the really dark circles around his eyes instead of the huge whites. So looking forward to this. The older books are always a bit of a slow jam because they have so much exposition and so much, what we would nowadays call, needless words, because, there'll be a picture and then there'll be a text box describing the picture, which is just kind of overkill. But, looking forward to this one. At least take a look through it, and for $1, the True Believer stuff is always worthwhile. This is Detective Comics number 1010, with Tom King finishing up his Batman run. I already have dropped Batman. Not that I don't like Tinian's writing. He's okay. I get the Justice League Dark, but Detective Comics with Peter Tomasi, he does a great job with Batman. And do I really need 8 different Batman series? No. So this was a 2-parter with Deadshot that was really good. And most of the time Tomasi's got Doug Mahnke as his artist, they do a really good job. Here's the number 1011, which was this was just a 2-part story, so it was pretty short, but they do a great job. I'm perfectly fine just getting Detective as my one Batman comic and moving on from there. So plus Detective is, they kind of leave them alone. There's no weird tie-ins or stuff to go on with an event, so it's easier to just get Batman stories. This is the new Sandman Universe Constantine Hellblazer. I didn't even know they were relaunching Hellblazer, but here they are. It's a DC Black Label. Most of the Black Label stuff has been miniseries that are, ridiculously oversized. This one's just a regular size comic. This looks like the variant. I didn't even know. But, I've always liked Constantine when he pops up in other books. So, and I have some Hellblazer, not a huge amount. And then I was also getting, when they did the new 52, they had just a Constantine book, because, Hellblazer confuses people, and they had the Constantine show at the time, so I got a few of those. It's pretty good. The first issue was interesting, so I'm going to keep picking it up. I recently went through some of the Marvel Comics Presents that I bought a while ago. I'm mostly just reading the opening Wolverine stories. A lot of these have 4 stories, but the good stuff is the Wolverine story, and then it's like, a story about Stingray, and a story about some guy I've never heard of that never got out of Marvel Comics Presents. So, just reading through the opening Wolverine story, which makes it a lot quicker. They're about 10 pages for the Wolverine story, and then they'll have like 5 or 6 pages for the 3 backups. But, this is Brown Suit Wolverine. The art normally for the Wolverine story is good, and then they'll have backups that are, the quality ranges, but not too bad. Here's what looks like I would say a Larson cover with Spidey and Wolverine, maybe McFarlane, but I kind of doubt it. Or actually, I'm gonna say it could be Layfield, because that Wolverine looks rather Layfieldish, but Layfield doesn't like to draw feet, so there's at least 2 visible feet in here. I have to assume he didn't do that one. Let's see here. It's another one. This one had a Hercules backup that looked okay, but again, I was just trying to run through the Wolverine stories on these. A lot of the backup stories are actually by Scott Lobdell, who's currently writing for DC. I've never been a huge fan of his work, but I think this was basically where he started doing regular writing. So, if you're a fan of him, he's literally the writer for at least one of the backups in each of the issues so far. This is Superman Up in the Sky. This was a mini-series. I believe the stories were all printed in those Walmart exclusive 100-pagers first, and then the comic book fans kind of got annoyed, and then DC put the stories together into this 5 or 6 issue miniseries. I missed issue 6 on both this and the Batman story, so I'll have to try to track those down, because this is really good. This is Tom King writing Superman, and one of the Kubert brothers does the art, and it's really, like, this issue in particular is a race with the Flash mostly, and it's all, one shot, full page with explanation, and then the next page is, full page with writing, and boom, boom, boom. So, Magnus Robot Fighter, I think I've read this one before, but whenever I see these old Valiants from the 90s, I'll pick them up. Magnus in particular is really good sci-fi stuff. If you happen to see them in your dollar bin, go ahead and pick them up. I was lucky enough to find quite a few. There's a seller on eBay that I frequent that has a whole bunch of dollar comics, and a lot of times it's obviously like dollar bin 90s junk, but early on I was able to get a huge amount of Valiant runs on their site. So This is Batman Universe, which is basically the Batman version of that Up in the Sky Walmart exclusive stuff. So these are by Bendis. The whole point, I think, to these was just to have Tom King do Superman and Bendis to do Batman, just so they could put their big guys on the other character, and Nick Darrington does the art, which is just super expressive, so really like these. Again, I have issue 5, and I'm missing issue 6, so I'll have to pick those up. This artwork's just great. It's simple, I mean, it's not like they have a huge amount of lines. Obviously, Batman does because of shading, but otherwise, it's like, it's the simple, almost like Batman animated series style. This is just a Conan the Barbarian that I picked up. I think this was also from that dollar seller on eBay. They just happened to have a huge amount of these, so they were $1. Anything Conan, especially the old stuff, I'll pick up. Picking up the current Marvel Conan stuff. Probably going to drop Savage Sword just because it's a rotating writer and artist, and not that they've been bad, but I mean the main Conan series by Jason Aaron is the obvious one to be spending your money on. They also had a Serpent War miniseries recently. I didn't pick that one up. And they had a Conan 2099, which seemed like an obvious cash grab, so we left that alone. This is another 90s Valiant. This is Harbinger, which was basically like their mutant superhero team. They're not mutants in the Valiant universe, but it was basically the Valiant version of an X-Men or Avengers group. So was able to pick up almost the entire series on a few different eBay auctions for really cheap. So I didn't get number 1, but I got, I think, like maybe number 6 or 7 on up. So like this is 18. The Valiant covers are super, I won't say boring, but simple. There's no real writing. I mean, this one says introducing screen, but that's it. And it's right under the price tag. It's not even like it's blasted across the cover. They tended not to do a huge amount for the covers. Again, here in the top corner it says captured by Hard Corpse, but it's tiny. It's under the price tag. They could leave that out and you probably wouldn't even notice. And this series is really good. If you happen to see some, it's worth the pickup. As it went on, the later issues get a little wonky, but the first 20 or so with David Latham on art, I'd say they're worth the pickup if you happen to see them in the dollar bin or sitting around somewhere. Again, here there's just a big explosion. There's not even anything to tell you what's going on. You can hardly even tell which characters these are. So, super vague and easy to look at Valiant covers. So that's it for today, guys. I'll try to do a video next week. I've just been super busy with the holidays and all that stuff. I'm trying to get the house together after the holidays and put stuff away. So, hopefully next week. I think there's just a few issues this week I'm picking up. Maybe I'll try to put those aside so we can take a look at them. So, you guys have a good one, guys, and thank you very much.